Welcome, everyone. We've got Burton with us from PropStream. Man, the more I learn about this company, the more I feel like I'm never going to finish learning everything it's got. It's pretty crazy. I tell that to I'm like, dude, every time I jump in, I'm like, this is a lot, but it can also be used like a sniper, like boom. And that's what we're doing today, which is we're sniping on something that I suck at. You called me out before we started. You're like, agents buy these lists and they never use them, and then they buy the same lists. Listen, I've got a lot of lists, man. I've got a lot of lists, and I probably don't use any of them because I think, they're old. So where do we start with this?
So great question. I think where we start is explaining a feature that's, I would say, very hidden in PropStream. I wish it was a little bit more popular than it is today, but and that import is our import feature. Within PropStream, we have a feature called List Automator. It's an add-on, or it's included in 2 of the 3 packages that we have. So you might actually have it already. The best rule of thumb is when you're in PropStream, just check your account. If you go into the My Properties page, you'll see an import button. If it's available to be clicked on, you're good to go. But that's what we're going to be highlighting today. And the reason for that is because in my tenure working at PropStream, or just the company's longevity, which is nearly 20 years, we discovered a very common behavior. And that's users will buy a list and they'll work that list anywhere between 2 to maybe up to 6 months. And then the confidence of that list goes away.
Wait, hold on. Burton, come on. I download the list and I'd use it one time, dude.
Maybe we don't go 6 months.
Ideal. Like, no, we don't use it, dude. We use it for a week and we forget about it. Okay?
That's what I was just giving you guys the benefit of the doubt.
I'm telling you from personal experience. I'm like, where'd that list go? What did I do?
And sadly, that's true. And sometimes these lists are not easy to acquire. Either they take a lot of time to cultivate, or it sometimes can be very, very expensive. And that's why we created Lead Automator. With Lead Automator, in our previous conversations, we showed the automation, which again keeps you on top of your records that you're building with PropStream. But what we didn't talk about, and that's what we're going to talk about today, is our import feature. So rather than talking through it, I'd actually just like to show you guys how it can work and how you can use it today.
Perfect.
All right, so to know whether you have this feature or not, the best thing to do is just go immediately into your My Properties. And if you see this import list button and you can select it, you are good to go. Right? This is the button that we're going to be paying attention to. Now, I tested it right before we did this just to make sure it works, and it did. Because you never know technology, right? But here's how it works, okay? So let's say you're wanting to know what's the difference between our product, PropStream, and any other product. Use the import feature. I'll show you an example.
Yeah.
This is Redfin. You're probably very familiar with it, right?
Yeah.
Public-facing website. I use it all the time as well. And so what I did here randomly is I went into the city of Dallas. I'm from Southern California, by the way. And I just said, hey, look, I'm looking for a home. Give me everything you have, whether it's coming soon, active, already under contract. And same thing with the listing type, right? Agent, for sell by owners, construction, new construction, for like, give me everything. And it yielded me 40 results here on the left-hand side. And for those that don't know, if you have an account with Redfin, you can actually download that entire Excel sheet. And so that's what I did. So here it is. Here are my 40 addresses that I acquired from Redfin. And here's the reason why I'm even doing this is that Redfin's amazing of a product. Don't get me wrong. But again, what we do and what we specialize here at PropStream is acquiring a lot of data. So we can go into these properties and we can view the property information. But what you'll notice is the information that you capture on a lot of public websites isn't the same as what PropStream has been collecting over the near 20 years of business. So yes, you're going to get the address, a little bit of the property information, the agent who's listed it, and all that other stuff. Yeah. But it doesn't tell you some of the stuff that we have, like if it's under an encumbrance, a lien, an HOA lien, if the owner has multiple properties, or if the owner has more than one mortgage, or the local comps that are happening in the area.
I have a question.
And that's where we come in. Go ahead,
About
Tristan.
this sidetrack. By the way, let us know what city, what state, or what country you're in. I see Donna Lakshmi, Santa Clarita. We're not too far from each other, so not too far. My question to you is this: if I go and let's say use Redfin because it's so easy to use, if I go to Redfin and I'm like, oh, I see a brand new listing in an area that I want to cover, right? I grab that listing and then I check out the surrounding areas by downloading all maybe the solds, what sold recently. I upload that list into PropStream. Will it also, can I also grab the rest of the homes in the area that I could target because one just popped up? And you know what happens when one pops up, more pop up, especially if there haven't been any ones that sold recently.
That's absolutely any address that you apply on our Excel sheet can be imported in. And so just with that example, and with your example as well, as long as you're able to capture that address and then take that address, download their Excel sheet, and that's what I did here, and then transfer it over to our Excel sheet. So this is our Excel sheet here. Okay. So any address, if you are dealing with vacant land, we even gave you the option to apply the county FIPS and the APN number of that vacant land. But once you've done that, you can go ahead and close down those Excel sheets, head over to your My Properties. So let's go ahead and minimize this now. And we're going to head into PropStream's My Properties, and we're going to go ahead and import that list. So hit that import button, download our template, which I already did, copy and paste, which I already did. Now you just got to hit choose file, go through your platform and find that file, hit the open button. Do you want to save these imported addresses you're about to bring into PropStream to an existing marketing list or create a new one? And let's do that. So RF upload, we're going to go ahead and hit save. And then we're going to do all the hard work for you. We're going to take those addresses on that Excel sheet that you just uploaded and then connect our data with it. Now, as it's doing this, let me explain the value of that, right? This isn't just for a website you just went to right now, like I did, right? Go to a website, grab their addresses, and then put it together with PropStream's data and see what more information you have. As I've said in previous episodes, real estate's a jigsaw puzzle. No two homeowners, no two situations are ever the same pieces. Some might have 1,000, some might have 10,000. All we're trying to do is try to give you as many puzzle pieces as possible so you can get a vivid picture of what's going on. And so that might require taking data from one source and then bringing it over, just like I did now. Now, before I show you the results, this doesn't just apply to a website you visited today. This also applies to those lists that you have sitting on your desktop for the last 4 or 5 years. I know for a fact you've spent hundreds of dollars on those Excel sheets. That's why they've been sitting there, because you do not want to delete them. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. As a matter of fact, you should pat yourself on the back for not deleting them, because now you can upload them and refresh them with today's PropStream's data. We update every single day. So some of those vacant properties that you have on that list 2 years ago may still be vacant today, and you've been sitting on that for a long time.
Question, right? 2 questions. One, Paul, what's up, Paul? Do you service Canada? That's the #1 question.
Canada data, no. We serve Canada consumers, but we don't have Canada data. So we do have a lot of Canada users that are pulling leads from the US, but we don't have Canada data.
Got it. Okay, second question then. When we have these lists that are finally imported into PropStream, does it automatically update them once they're in the system? Or do we have to go through a process?
No, that's exactly what it does the moment it gets connected. So just a few moments ago, we took these 40 addresses from this platform, right? And 2336 is one of those properties. It's currently for sale. It's a 2.5 bath. We could see a little bit of the property information, right? But now that I've uploaded into PropStream, all we had to do is click on that list, find that same address. So we're clicking on that property. We're going to find that same address. So we're going to just type 2336 here. There it is. And I just want to show you guys the major difference in what we're doing, right? So slight property information here, a little bit about the agent. And then here's the major difference in PropStream. We have property characteristics, land and location information like zoning. We still have that same description, right? So what you saw on this website, we have it as well here. We could show you the same agent representing that product. All that information is here, as you can see, right? I can run comps, not that agent's not right or anything, but you never know. Market might shift tomorrow. Prices could go up. Prices could go down. Maybe I want to rent out this property instead of fixing and flipping it. So therefore, I can utilize the MLS data that we have, the public records to identify a cash transaction and find a buyer for this asset if I acquire it. We talked about our PropStream intelligence, which takes the property photos, gives you a grade. Demographics, so if I do acquire it, is it suited for a rental property or is it suited for more of a fix and flip because there's 91% owners in this market, right? Tax information, any additional properties, mortgage information on this property, and we have a current loan from 2003. So if I want to do something creative with this homeowner, I now have that information to do such a thing. And so not only are we giving you the ability to update a list that you've had for years, or get more information by taking another source's data and putting it through PropStream's import feature and collecting our data. But get a load of this. When you import it, we have these 10 summary boxes at the top to tell you a little bit about what's going on with your list. So those 40 properties that I uploaded, 23 of them have high equity, 15 have low equity, 9 of them are free and clear. And then we have a few other categories, which unfortunately didn't show up, or fortunately for the homeowners. But some of these categories are vacant, negative equity, what's bank owned, what's in pre-foreclosure, up for auction, has lien, or bankruptcy.
Burton, how often is this updated when I look at this list?
Every day we do an update, but these data sets can vary because of the fact that they're from different providers. So yes, it could be daily, it could be weekly. And then to make things even more complicated to that question, if you take a close attention to each of these summary boxes, there's an edit feature at the top right. So,
hold on, let me
follow me along, right? I just took 40 addresses from a different website, brought it into PropStream, and now I have PropStream's data, right? I can click on all of these properties, and I have a plethora of PropStream's data. But now I can also filter it. So I can now say, oh, hold up here. Now that I have 40 addresses with PropStream's data, let's take this bank-owned box and completely replace it. How about we call it the adjustable box? Why? Because I want to know out of my 40 properties that I just imported, who has an adjustable rate mortgage. So interest rate, adjustable, hit apply, no addresses have adjustable. That's fine. How about we take the pre-foreclosure box, and instead of looking for pre-foreclosures, who has 3 or more properties? So now we go to ownership info, numbers of properties owned, minimum 3, hit apply. That bankruptcy box is now 3 or more. We don't have any owners on this list with 3 or more. So you literally can take any address, a list of them, 1,000 if you'd like, import it, whether it's from a source today or a source from last year, bring it in, you'll get our data today, and then you can use these filters to say who has an adjustable rate, who's an out-of-state owner, which one of these properties are non-owner occupied. So for example, take the negative equity, non-owner, owner information, or owner occupied, there you go. Take out the equity part. How many of these 40 addresses are non-owner occupied? We have 13 of them.
Dude.
Isn't that just crazy how you can literally take any data, bring it in, and just sky becomes the limit with our filtering system.
Yeah, I didn't know about this. And we've been doing this for like a year. So.
It is, I'm telling you, one of the most hidden features ever.
You know what it should be? And then I'll go to the questions. When we hover over those boxes, it should give us the option to like an edit, a pop-up edit button should be like, hey, you want to edit this? You want to move this around?
Right? I'm going to write that down. I like that. Just kind of highlight it, maybe even make that thing a brighter, bigger color, or even bigger.
I had no idea that little tiny square on the top right meant, yo, click me because I can do more.
Yeah,
right?
And that's not just for the import part. That actually can work for our data. You can go in here and say, go to LA, give me all the high equity. And then tomorrow morning, when you have your list here, you could say, you know what? Those 119 portfolios that I created the other day, how many of them live out of state? And so we can just grab a category here at the top and completely replace that, right? Out of state. So it's beneficial to not just an import of PropStream or that you're bringing into PropStream, but this could also be beneficial to someone who's using our data that might just come up with a filter within the filter. Like, hey, you know what? I just thought of this right now. How many of these 119 that have been sitting here in my properties are out of state? Well, there's 8 of them that own portfolios, but they're not even in Colorado right now.
Dude, I love this. I love this.
Crazy feature. Again, check into it. We have help videos. You can call in. We'd love to walk you through your first import and filtering through that data that you might not even have known about this whole time.
I didn't. Michael's asking, does PropStream integrate with Mojo or Follow Up Boss, or do we just download the CSV file and upload for those CRMs?
Great question, Mr. Gavin. And right now it is a manual process. So you will have to export to a CSV file and upload it. Hopefully in the future, we'll be able to make that process a lot easier through some sort of API, forward-facing integrations, API or something like that. So it is on the table of discussion, but it's not yet integrated. So right now it is still a manual process.
I'm assuming it's the same with Lofty, with the Lofty CRM, right? Download, upload.
Yeah. So any third-party application in terms of like direct integration, like, hey, can I click on a button that sends over to my marketing website, or I click on a button and it sends over to my CRM in this case, Lofty, and a few others that have been mentioned here. We don't have that one-click integration. So anytime you're trying to take our data and put it into another platform, you're going to have to do it the manual way, essentially. Take that Excel sheet and upload that. We're trying our best to utilize the current technology, essentially AI and other elements, to accommodate a universal approach because of the many different platforms out there and the many different formats that they require for you to take our data to their platform. It's kind of crazy. So we're trying to figure out a process that makes that essentially universal, kind of like a USB can fit into any computer and it can be read, right? Same scenario here. We're trying to give you, the user, a fast track to get our data into whatever platform you like in an efficient manner. For now, that hasn't been released.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Another question.
Yeah.
And I want you to take me through this because this one, I think, for real estate agents, or even for brokers that have this for their offices or teams, right? They could definitely do this one. And I'm curious, this is just for me, okay?
Yeah.
If I have a farm area, let's say 500 homes in a farm, and I farm it, I send out a newsletter. If you like, pick an area wherever you want, and then I have this list because I make it a list here. So it's all data inside a PropStream that it gives me. Now, I have this farm, and as I expand on it, I can add maybe make it 1,000. But the important thing is these visuals that you just took me through. My farm is literally speaking to me daily if I have it in this format, because at the top I have all of these choices. It'll say, hey, you've got 1,000 homes on this. One just sold because it didn't sell with you. You need to get your ass over there and do a better job. That's what I would see it like. 6 of these are vacant, Tristan. Like, you need to go and take a look at these, right? And check out these that have equity, and check out dude, this is crazy for farming.
No, you're absolutely right. And you nailed it on the head. You know, you can go to practically any market. And for those that are farming like you're doing now, I would also encourage you to lean on our draw search feature. Our draw search feature is on the map. So, for example, you're in San Clemente, California, and this is your farm right over here.
Give me that area. I want to see this live.
Yeah. So, okay. So we're in San Clemente. I like this area here. Again, if you want just to make satellite view, just to double check. So this is your farm. You use our draw search feature, which is located at the top left. Click on that. And then after several clicks later, you'll have your shaded area. So here's my shaded area. Let's go ahead and have all the houses. Go ahead and hit enter on your keyboard, and we're going to pull up all the addresses in this area. Now, what you can do is either filter, hey, who's non-owner occupied, if you'd like, or to Tristan's point, we're just going to save all 685 addresses.
Perfect.
So let's just grab that. We'll go to actions, we'll hit the save button, and we'll call this the San Clemente farm list.
Yeah, I like
so
that.
I love that. We're thinking the same right here. SC farm. We're going to go ahead and save. And then from that point on, to Tristan's point, it's now stored in your My Properties. And if you have Lead Automator, those summary boxes are going to be there at every given day. So now when I click on that, even to this very moment, it's telling me the situation that's happening, like who's on market, who just sold, who's vacant, who has equity, right? And so every day I click on it, these numbers can change. And not only can these numbers change, but again, I could just think of something right now. Hey, you know what? How many of these homeowners have 2 mortgages? Let's take this bank-owned box, or any of these boxes for that matter, and replace it with 2 mortgages. And now, instead of bank-owned, I go to mortgage, number of mortgages 2, I hit apply, and out of those 685 to 120 of them have 2 mortgages on their properties.
Yeah,
that's the crazy part about these summary boxes. And then if you just tie it in with the import feature, wild, right? So whether you have a list of 500 addresses you're always working on, you're always monitoring, I definitely would import that. And then not only get our data, but you have these features as well, so you can constantly create categories out of them if you like.
Let's go to the auction one at the top and change it to expired.
Ooh, I like that. So let's do that. We'll remove auctions. We'll call it expired. And then we have a quick list choice for that, failed listings. And then we can even do more things, like make sure it's, a for sale failed listing, or for rent, or both. I don't care. And you know what? I want someone was on market for 60 days or more, not someone who was on there for a week and changed their mind. So now that we have my failed listings that at least have 60 days or more on the market before they failed, how many of these 685 fell into that? 3 of them.
3. Okay. And then when we click on those 3, does it also show if it's for sale right now as well?
Yes, you'll be able to see all that information. And right now, if it's on here, no, it's probably not for sale, because it is a failed listing. So
how the hell is this the first time we're going over this shit? This is crazy, man.
Hey, you know what? I'm doing a great job if I got you to highlight that. I love that. But yeah, as you can see, it failed. If they tried to sell it for whatever the reason is, didn't sell, and they've just kept it since. So are they still you never know. Or maybe they're just waiting for values to go up, which I'm going to tell you right now, that it's probably double in today's market. Yeah. I am very familiar with San Clemente. It's a very affluent neighborhood in southern Orange County. Dude, and what prices were 10 years ago is definitely not what that price is going to be. This person if they were to list it, I'm telling you, they'd probably get double, if not more.
Take me back to so 685. I want to see all 685. So every day,
we're going to go ahead and just click on that. And
every day when I wake up and I'm ready to work, one of the things that I would do, I'm just thinking out loud with you, is because this would be my farm area, I'm going through and I'm going to use those little top squares. Eventually, I would make them into my daily report for my farm, right? That's what would keep me up to date. So I know what's on market. So anytime I'm talking to anybody in the neighborhood, I know, boom, I know what's on market. I know what just sold, right? And then those, as they change, I'm going to be so in tune. This is like the stock market for my farm area. Right?
I like that. That's a very good comparison, actually. Yeah, you're not lying there. You're monitoring every single thing. And again, we as PropStream, we update every day, but the data providers, heck, we could be getting a mortgage update as we speak right now. And so the fact that I have this tomorrow, that could go from 120 to 124 because one of these homeowners last month pulled a new mortgage, right? So to your point, I love it for that. You're always going to stay on top of not just these 10 categories, but all 10 categories, as I've shown you, can be completely replaced with your own filter. So you'll have the static 10, but feel free to get carried away and replace it like we did with the expired listing. And if you change your mind, no biggie. Go back in there and delete your filter and back to the original one it goes, and then just replace it with another new filter. So all you can. So now, I kid you not, you could take one list and there is an exponential, I can't even figure out what that number is, but through these 10 summary boxes and the fact that all 10 can be customized, you can literally work a list for eternity at this point, because you could constantly keep who has this, who has that, who has 5 properties in this list, who lives out of state, whose property is built 20 years ago, whose property is more than 5,000 square footage. And you can do that over and over through these summary boxes at the top. It's wild when you really think about the power we're giving you to manipulate a list that you're already working on through these summary boxes.
All right. So, damn, Michael, that's a good idea. I didn't even think of that. That's brilliant. Shit, that's a good idea. All right, Burton, I have more questions because first of all, I didn't even know this, but I have a farm area. Obviously, we get a lot of listings in our farms. I'm going to think like a prospector. So like a person that hits the phones, does a lot of mailing. My option now with these 685, I have 2 options or multiple options. I have one, I can do the blanket mail to all 685 every month, once a month. I could then decide what filters I want to use and say, well, you know what? Out of these 685, I think based on high equity, right? I think based on high equity, I'm only going to mail to high equity 2 times a month instead, right? Say that. And then on top of that, because I know I can grab all the 685, I might be able to grab their phone numbers and their email addresses, right? And now I can retarget them on Facebook, start a campaign, bring them into the local newsletter because I don't want to spam them, like just blanket email everybody. But I want to bring them to opt-in newsletter, and I'm retargeting them. And then on top of that, I know who these people are easier. I don't have to go to title in our state to get the information to door knock. I could literally just have this and update them. Dude, I am loving this. Anything I'm missing if I'm looking at this to prospect? What other things come to mind? How can I target people?
Just again, beyond what you just mentioned, which is the amount of creativity you can. It's just really, we've said this many times on many of our other episodes. It's a matter of how you guys cook with the data we're giving you, right? I mean, we get the common question, what's the difference between you and these other providers? And I just showed you a live example of a very renowned public website and the difference between their data and our data, and then the manipulation that you can do in our product versus their product, right? But that also applies to you, right? So while we're giving you this ability to manipulate, all these addresses and the data behind these addresses, it's a level of just thinking outside of the box. Like, for example, you mentioned, the 9 properties that just sold, dang, we didn't get to them. We should be ashamed a little bit, right? But see, I'm always like, well, what can I do knowing that this property sold? Here's an example. I would take out the properties that sold, click on those properties because we give you that property's information, and then go to comparables and nearby listings. And then maybe, just maybe, a consideration, an option here is go to the neighbor option and then mark it to the 2 neighbors to the left and 2 neighbors to the right and the neighbor across the street and say, hey, your neighbor just sold recently. Would you like me to comp your property and see what it's worth as well? We're now establishing a relationship because everybody wants to keep up with the Joneses, right? So
go ahead.
While it may be considered, man, we lost it, not necessarily. It means that there's more opportunity at present because now you got the 5 neighbors around that house that just sold that are like, hey, did you hear that John just sold this house? What do you think our house is worth? And then they get your phone call. Hey, would you like to know what your house is worth?
Well, that could also be one of the mailers we run through PropStream, right? These are the 9.
There you go. You're the 9 addresses that sold in this 2-block radius, 3-block radius. And then not only that, now what, 685 minus 9, that's what, 676 homeowners that you're going to say, would you like me to comp your property knowing that these 9 just sold for this value?
The answer is
yes, please. What's my price? What's my price? What's my price? And heck, I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't mind doing 685 comps to know that maybe 10 of them might sell. Just think about that. Is it worth the hard work? If 10 of them are going to list, heck yeah, I would do it. Right. So
that's true.
It's a matter of how you guys cook with the data at the end of the day as well. While we're cooking with the vendors that we collect data and how you can manipulate it, don't forget that's the whole purpose is we want you to be able to have this power. And then what you do with this, is up to you. And as if you ever watch Spider-Man, what does Uncle Ben said? With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Leave it up to you guys. So have fun.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. By the way, everyone, scan that if you can. It gives you the trial for 7 days. Please test this out.
Yes.
I took Burton on a tangent on a farm area, but that also shows the amazing depth and flexibility this tool has to just create whatever you want. Like, I had never thought of doing that until you showed me those little boxes at the top, and then you showed me how to edit them, and I was like, dude, this will be where I start for my farm area, because we've got about the greater area, about 1,700 homes in these different tracks that we cover all here. It's pretty big. But if I could have that every morning, click, right? It's way MLS.
Yeah.
Like this is the type of stuff that I love. So, dude, this was great. Thank you, man.
You're welcome, Tristan. Thank you again for having me and letting me share my wealth of knowledge with PropStream.
And everyone else, thanks for joining. Check out PropStream, 7-day free trial. Have an awesome day, everyone.